Yo, what's poppin'? It's Tommathan, and we have some Overwatch League news to talk about. Some official, some leaks. The one official thing to start off is the Shanghai Dragons have parted ways with Izayaki, head coach Moon, and assistant coach Kong. So Shanghai blowing up isn't really a surprise at this point, right? We've kind of knew after Lige gone because they are owned by NetEase, right? And NetEase were or currently are the licensor for Overwatch in China until January something. And now that that's not going to happen, and it looks like they're not going to renew and all that stuff, and it's all up in the air. And Overwatch is going crazy. Overwatch League APAC is fucking like struggling right now. Like everything's going crazy, right? It just makes sense that they go fuck it. We're going to cut our losses and just have a midfield roster for Shanghai and not have a superstar roster, which makes sense. But yeah, so Izayaki, obviously insanely talented player historically, currently a role star, and he will be on a high level team if he wants to be, assuming that people are still spending. I know things are crazy. I think there'll be some high end talent that's left on the table, but I really don't think Izayaki will be one of them. He's worked on a mixed team before with the LA Valiant back in season one. So I know that's a while ago, but he was there. He didn't get much playtime, but he was there. Um, I don't know, things like that. Uh, Very high brand recognition, all that stuff. He should be a sought after like player, basically. And then you have Coach Moon, who yeah, Shanghai didn't turn out maybe as you would have liked, but I think that wasn't really on him. I feel like a lot of the players just weren't up to code in Overwatch 2. Fleta had his flop era. The tanks weren't really as strong as you'd like them to be. And that's basically the big stuff. I think any team that's looking, any GM sitting here and looking at Moon and they don't have their coach picked out yet, they should go, I think we could go for this guy because I think Moon will legitimately make their team go up multiple points in the standing. So we'll see what goes on with these two, but there should be people calling them up right now, be like, yo, yo, yo. You know what I mean? They should be on it. They should be on it. Now we have some leaks. Now some people don't like leaks, so if you don't like them, click away. And I'm not saying these are all true. I don't know, but I'm saying they're worth talking about at the very least. So starting off, they're from Leak Mafia, and Leak Mafia was correct about the Paris Eternal stuff mid-season and things like that. But like, take this with a grain of salt. Could be some trolling. Could be a lot of stuff sprinkled in. Some truth, some lies. Who knows? But yeah. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna act like it's like pretty good. I'm gonna act like it's pretty true because why not? So Gladiators DPS lineup. Most likely Sugar Free, Kevster, Kai. This is insane. Kevster's obviously that guy. We all know Kevster. Then Sugar Free. He is just of age now, which is crazy. He's been around for so long, had so much potential, so good in NA contenders for so long, right? Kind of taking a step back, kind of similar to the Potafon situation, taking a step back and then coming back whenever he's legal because he already proved everything he needs to prove, right? He didn't have to play anymore, basically, because everyone knew he was the GOAT and they just had to wait. And he's here, and he is going to be a fantastic compliment to Kevster, and I'm just ready for it. You know, speedily hype. Let's amplify that even more. There should be more hype for Sugar Free than there was for Speedily, 100%. In my opinion, at least. And then Kai is your hit scan. If you wanted to get a Western hit scan, Kai was probably the best option available. If you were unable to get Sparker, maybe he goes back to London on a discount or something. Who knows? Probably unable to get Aspire because he's locked up in Vancouver jail. And it's probably not worth paying the extra money to buy him out of his original contract and things like that. Well, I don't know if you have to do that, but things like that. And then you probably weren't able to get Hydron because he's going with AT. So Kai's a pretty good option. Now, there is some question marks in terms of flexibility with Kai. Not about the characters, but about the playstyle. We saw in the Sojourn meta that he wasn't quite up to par towards the end there. The playstyle of his and Sojourn's playstyle just didn't quite mesh. But if you get him on like an Ashe, on a Widowmaker, on something like that, where you can just sit back, click his heads, and just carry, that's perfect. That's perfect for him. You'll be fine. And honestly, I think Sugar Free Kevster will be able to round him out, even if we do get more Sojourn and his playstyle isn't in meta. I think this team will be fine. I think this is a pretty scary lineup and maybe the best Western lineup you could have reasonably gotten, I would say. Other things, Atlanta fans should thank Hawk for making the roster of Lip, Stalker, Vigilante, Who Are You possible. This Charong one is bait, apparently, because to see if Halo stalks the account, and Halo did report on it. So, as well as on the Lip thing, but then Yiska was like, Lip is real, but Charong is not real. So, Halo maybe is sitting here stalking the account, just typing it in. But yeah, that's hilarious. But talking about this actual roster, this is fucking insane, right? So Hawk is your only tank. Maybe isn't ideal. You could have some question marks with Reinhardt, with Winston, but I have some confidence that Hawk would be able to pick that up. And then you also have to think, oh well, he doesn't know Korean, so I guess he could learn Korean. Why not? Sure, enough to actually get the job done. And this is probably just so that they can get some low budget pieces that are still high value, and then build an absolutely insane team with Lip. Lip, Stalker, Vigilante. They're all probably not very, or they're all probably pretty expensive. Even the main support, who isn't Charong, but I'm expecting someone of that caliber, whether it be, I don't know, a Lige Gon, a Vindame, Chio still out there. There's still so many that I'm expecting a pretty high caliber main support that can probably flex over to a flex DPS or a flex DPS. That'd be crazy. To Shu is not that guy. I was just getting ahead of myself there, but yeah, I think it'll be pretty high level. And then Who Are You is just kind of here. It's a little questionable to me why Who Are You's here, because you have Stalker, and Stalker's Genji in APAC was pretty much only second to Who Are You. You could argue Zest, but he didn't get enough playtime to really showcase that. So I don't know. I feel like Stalker will get the nod unless it's a hard Genji meta, and even then, it's who knows. But yeah, Lip obviously the best hit scan you could get. That's not shy, and even then, Lip's probably better, more consistent at least. So this is insane. Vigilante, I don't know if he's like Izayaki level. He's not Shu level. He's not anywhere like that. But he had a lot of hype coming in, and I think he's going to be pretty damn good. At least worth investing into for another season, 100%. And this roster's scary, right? Lip with more support. We saw what Shanghai could do when Lip had no support. This is going to be crazy. Just the big question mark is Hawk as your only tank on a Korean lineup, basically. Other things. Toronto Defiant X American Tornado is close to done, but it's unclear if Toronto is going to buy out Aspire's contract. I would guess they're not going to, because I don't think it'd be worth the money compared to just having Hydron. I think they're very close anyway. If you want to lean towards Aspire, you want to lean towards Hydron. I think they're exceptionally close. Probably not worth the extra money to buy out Aspire. Let Vancouver have him. Let Vancouver keep him. Why not? But yeah, obviously American Tornado going to Toronto. Huge stuff. Big things. It's interesting that in the season where there's a lot of free Korean talent that's just hanging around, Toronto decided to go Western now. I'm not like annoyed at that, because obviously getting American Tornado is huge for branding, and they're very talented, and they'll be very fun to watch, very fun to cheer for. But like, you look at the Korean talent, you look at the money bags Toronto's probably still willing to spend, and I'm like, bro, you could have had legit the best team in OWL, probably undisputably, if you sticked on Korean for one more season. Right? They could have been the one that got lit. Like, I don't know. I'm a Toronto fan. I'll never be happy, no matter what happens. But I am happy with American Tornado. I am content. I am content. This is gonna be crazy. Dante is unlikely to continue playing in OWL since he hasn't received a good offer. This would be crazy to me. I think Dante probably showcased to be the best NA solo tank. Like, his Winston was good, everything else was good. He just picked up tank. That's not even his peak on the role, and he can't find an offer. That's surely not true, right? With how many teams want to go NA, maybe he's looking for too much money. Maybe he doesn't want to play tank. Maybe he's going DPS. Who knows why this would be the case? But that boggles my mind if this is true. That'd be crazy to me. I fully expected to see Dante somewhere, and honestly, I still do. Even seeing this report, someone will offer Dante something, even if it's not as much money as he'd like. I'd bet you he'd take it. Who knows? Faith and Punk to Vancouver is interesting, picking up the scraps of Boston, but these are probably the best two pieces to pick up. Faith was very underrated because he was on a Boston squad that wasn't very good. Hard to rate a main support on a poorly performing squad. Punk, obviously, he's had that whole arc where he kept trying to get benched by the head coach. But he's pretty good. He's a very high level NA tank, or not NA because he's from Australia, but a Western tank that I think it's a pretty good look for Vancouver. This is one of the tanks that I would look as a piece if you want to go Western. I would say if you don't have like a Hawk, Punk, Kaluge, Reiner, Dante, if not one of those 5 tanks, your Western lineup's not going to be very good. So I think picking up Punk is huge, and he will have a pretty good season off of it, even if it's on Vancouver. Because, Faith, Punk, Aspire is a pretty good core to build off of. Just get a decent flex DPS, get a decent flex support. You can go Korean, you can go mixed. I would encourage it even. I think this is I think it'll be a good Vancouver roster, much better than last season and the season before for sure. So there's that. FD got him Ben Best to Washington Justice with some other EU Tier 2 players that I do not care about. Probably Love and Naga. Interesting. This was kind of like, this is Pep, and it was kind of reported they would do this last season, so maybe they just decided, no, we'll do it in the off season. This makes sense. I don't know. I don't think this team will be particularly good, to be honest with you. FD God back is interesting, but he didn't perform well on Shock, so maybe he'll perform well on a loose team where he can kind of just do his thing. Who knows? Interesting stuff. I already read that one. My bad. Crandrop the Titans is our last leak for today. Stay tuned tomorrow. Crandrop hits a skull. I don't know if this is real or not. I'm not entirely high on anything. This one feels a little bit trolly, so this one might not be real, but I don't know. But that's all there is to talk about today. Some crazy stuff going on here. I look forward to more leaks. Let me know your thoughts on these. How likely do you think they are to be true? What do you think this track record is going to look like? Are you hyped for this Atlanta roster? Do you think that Hawk as the tank will be a crutch that they're not able to overcome? This is the biggest thing for me. We'll see. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you like it. Subscribe if you really liked it. All that kind of stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a good one. Deuces.